I don't know why Oh No It's Alex has such a bone to pick with you, especially he covers consequent politics. God, am I in another Oh No It's Alex video? Honest to God, I don't know his issue with me is either. I have never spoken about him. That's a lie. I did do a react video to him because he was reacting to my reaction. So I reacted to the reaction of him reacting to my reaction. Mind you, the video I did about him was a month ago. And it was me reacting to him reacting to my video. He was watching my video on stream again. Buddy, at this point, like, if I'm taking up real estate up there, you like my videos. And then if he's watching me again or watch me again, it will probably come within the next like couple uploads or not. Yeah, I think so. Because I'm not going to watch this right now, though. I just want to see the comments of the... He wants the gaming to be for those 128 people of the modern audience. I think his live played I Am Bread and got toasted than he did in real life. Ideologue, games to go on political topics. I don't play games for politics. I play games to roleplay and do stuff I can't do in real life. Be it good, evil, greedy, destructive. Only thing I feel like Crusader Kings. People are so stupid. Dude, acting brand new, probably hard for him to understand how games work. We haven't seen what the industry has done in the last 35 years. Obviously not a gamer. You guys are right. I'm obviously not a gamer. As Asmongold would say, Jesus Christ, you're quoting Asmongold? Oh, that's Mr. Kittler. What are we even talking about when Alex knows more about God of War than this dude? I'm sorry, but why do games need to be political gamers against it? We have saying for years, this guy is so brainwashed, not funny. Games and movies were escapism for politics. You're right, guys. Games and movies are just for escapism. That's it. That's all games are for. Games and movies, escapism. Baldur's Gate 3, no politic. No politic there. No politic there. Lara Croft, no politic there. God of War. You know what? I'm going to show you guys something real quick. I mean, take a game like, might sound weird, but God of War, right? That God of War series, the original trilogy, was the first two and a half games, part third game too, was Kratos being so selfish, just angry, destructive, mad at the world, and watching it burn no matter the cost, right? Because he was wronged. But then by the third game, he starts to understand that that was the wrong path and ends up sacrificing himself to give the world a new shot free from the gods, right? I mean, even in the Ragnarok and in the 2018 version, he is trying his best to not live that life, to be a better person, to impart that wisdom to his son, who is also struggling with identity and anger issues, right? Those are good moral lessons, but at no point does the game show you it's good to be like an Odin, or it's good to be like a Thor, or it's good to be an Ares or a Zeus or any of those guys. I've been playing video games. At what point in that section did I say God of War was a politically charged game? At what point in that did I not understand the story of God of War? Like, that's what these people don't understand, because they're dumb. And I'm not being nice anymore. They're dumb people. They've been dumbed down by these grifters that they watch, and they're so basic that even when they hear something that's objectively true, that is not my interpretation of God of War. That is what happens as carries character. That is literally what happens in the games. The games amplify that in their action. In God of War 1, Kratos is selfish. He's in a revenge quest. So every other person who's not him can get fucked. Oh, you're the captain of a ship. You're going to get pushed down this Hydra's gullet. Oh, you're a prisoner begging for mercy in Hades. I'm going to light you on fire so I can get past this puzzle. These people are fucking media illiterate. That's why they hate people like me, because I can analyze media. That is what God of War is about. Why do you think Norse of War, Kratos, is calmed down? Why do you think he fucking buried the blades of chaos under? Why do you think it was such a big moment for him to put those blades back on? Why do you think he would hear fucking Zeus's voice? Like, it's so insane to me that these people are so incredibly illiterate. And then they want to talk about, I don't know anything about video games. I don't know anything about God of War. I just explained to you the most basic plot of characters of narrative, character narrative. That is Kratos' journey. They literally hammered that into you in the DLC for Ragnarok, where he meets young, pissed off Kratos.
A god of war, god of pain, of suffering, of destruction. And the one said, I chase redemption that I know I can never deserve. You lost everything and everyone. You became... There is no forgiving you. You chose! I chose. Should I lose everything and everyone? There's to be enough left inside so that I do not become you. I do not know. But I have hope.
Like I can't be bothered to watch that video. I'm sorry. I know Alex is gonna be snooping through my shit. You got it, dude. You got it. You know God of War better than me. You can read characters better than me. You can analyze better than me. It's so annoying, man. It's the same argument I've already defeated 100 times. People always say gaming is an escapism. I'm like, but for who? That's the point. Escapism is not universal because situations are not universal. Every comment I see is just for some dude, bro, who goes, it's supposed to be fantasy. Yeah, and what is fantasy? What is a fantasy? The faculty or activity of imagining things, especially things that are impossible or improbable. Okay. Ben Webster. The power process of creating especially unrealistic or improbable mental images in response to a psychological need. Also, mental image or a series of mental images such as daydreams so created. A creation of the imagination such as an idea that is far from reality, a chimerical or fantastic notion, imaginative fiction featuring especially strange settings and grotesque characters, a fanciful design invention. Right, we know fantasy, right? Of relating to or being in a game in which participants create imaginary teams consisting of players of particular sports, like fantasy football, fantasy sports. There's lots of different versions of fantasy, right? Colloquially, when we talk about fantasy, we talk about things in the realm of imagination. But your imagination is not something that just comes into existence. It is drawn from real life experiences. There is not a piece of media that you have engaged in that was purely devoid of anything from the real world, okay? Lord of the Rings may be shocking to you. Heavily inspired by real life political things happening. The animes we're talking about, in that same video, I talk about how even Dragon Ball Z's most infamous villain, Frieza, was inspired by Japanese real estate developers. Because that's how Akira Toriyama felt about those people. So when you're talking about escapism, which we should also look the definition up, right? Because that was the actual main thrust of this. Ritual diversion of the mind to purely imaginative activity or entertainment as an escape from reality. An escape from reality. That is what escapism is. But someone's reality may be very different from your own. Right now, trans people, right now, people who are either migrants or just Mexican, who are brown, who are Muslim, they have been at the forefront of a lot of hatred. So they might want to play a video game where they can see people like them and they're not being fucking persecuted or kidnapped or murdered or legislated against. That is a form of escapism. You want to go watch a basketball game to get away from your problems. Cool. That is a temporary form of escapism, right? It is an escape from reality or routine. If I routinely see Black people get murdered in real life, if I'm routinely seeing queer people being treated like second-class citizens, My escapism could be, I want to see a movie in which black people and queer people and trans people can just exist and they get to fight a dragon. And no one's worried about them being black or their sexuality because they're trying to kill a dragon. That's escapism. Dungeons and Dragons, Honors Among Thieves, escapism. I don't care if like, oh, geographically, this should have 90% white people. Who cares? It's not reality. It's an escape. In this reality, white people don't dominate America. In this reality, slavery never happened. In this reality, women have equal rights forever, all the time. That's what the escapism means. So for all of you dumbasses who keep coming and saying, you want politics? Politics can still be a form of escapism. Jesus Christ. Like I've always said, you are not the center of the universe. Your experiences are not the universal bylaws of the goddamn planet, okay? There are people who are suffering worse than you, who would love to see a version of themselves that's at least allowed to attain some measure of either happiness or humanity. That is the point. So again, when I was talking about God of War, I was talking about that from a structural standpoint of like overarching character narrative. But if your fantasy is to be a destructive, petulant man-child who destroys the world, boom, there you go. If your fantasy is to see a character like that, who's like you, see a happier ending, you also get that. You want to be the hero of time in Legend of Zelda? Guess what? You can be. But do you also want to, like, I don't know, fucking discover ancient ruins as Link? You can do that in Tears of the Kingdom. Do you want to globetrot as an archaeologist but shoot people and sometimes dinosaurs? Lara Croft can do that for you. Do you also want to play a game where women are not beholden to these unrealistic expectations? There's games for you like that. That's the point of having diversity in gaming. Like, I don't understand why you guys find that concept so hard to understand. Your experiences are not universal. Your expectations are not universal. People have different situations that they want to escape from. That is how it goes. People would like to see something happening on screen that they can digest and it's not going to affect their real life too. That's also escapism. Hey, what would it look like if, I don't know, fucking World War II, the Nazis won? Okay, there is an insane amount of fiction detailing that. There you go. Go live your dream. Go escape into his reality, then come back to here. What's the world look like? What if the president was a dinosaur? I'm sure that's a fucking book or movie or TV show or something or an anime. Go ahead. But to sit here and be like, oh, why are there black people? Why would there be gay people? Why would you make a video game like Ex Voto with gay people in it when gay people didn't exist in 1348, which A, is ahistorical, and B, because it's a fucking video game, it's fantasy. You don't have this complaint about God of War, how a Greek man is in a Nordic inspired mythology. You don't care about that shit, but you care about Angrboda being black. You don't care that you can play as a dude who can lift up a building, but if you play as a woman who can beat up a muscular man, there's an agenda being pushed. These are the same people who want to talk about escapism. They don't even fucking understand what those words mean. They just wait for someone in a banana suit to pick a target for them, or wait for some Roach King to pick a target from them. Because if they had to actually engage with the intellectual dishonesty they go to on a daily basis, their remaining brain cells would fucking commit suicide. Have some fucking intellectual honesty and integrity for once. Stop being so goddamn self-centered, dude. Clip that. React to that, Alex. React to that point. You won't, because you can't. Because I'm objectively right here. Unless you want to argue that no, everyone's reality is the same reality. Well, I guess you could. You could be pedantic and be some, well, actually, we all exist in the physical realm, but then we both know you're being pedantic asshole for no reason. That's the explainer for that part of the video, that apparently his audience is too fucking stupid to understand. Jesus Christ, man. Oh, God. Games must have stories, but political moral undertones that reflect the real world so they can be better identified stories. Yes, that's always how it's worked. There's no escapism if there's no basis for it. Like, God damn, like, why is it such a hard concept? Why is it a hard concept? If there's no moral or political underpinnings to the story you're reading, then what are you reading it for? Escapism from what? Oh, play a game called Tyranny. Are these games made with the express purpose of saying being bad is good? Or do they show it's like playing Monopoly and being like, yes, Monopoly is a game that tells you having Monopoly is actually good and everyone likes you afterwards. Like, everyone likes you after you win Monopoly. People love you from that. They love you. I would disagree strictly with all of being political. I think that there's one facet, but there's many other cultural and introspective things that focus on story-based games. Yeah, but I also mentioned that too. Because even if we talk about things not politically, right? Like morally, culturally, introspective, whatever, you still reach certain conclusions. Like if you play a game, that was the whole point of that video, right? When I meant political, I meant that in terms of like, how do you see immense suffering happening and then going, this is good and great, right? Because you played these games, you were Mario, which has moral underpinnings, right? Do good, be the good guy. You're the good guy in most video games. And even in games where you're not the typical good guy, you're either better than the worst option, or the game is going out of its way to show you that being a piece of shit is actually not that great. Everyone hates you, or you're isolated, or your character turns evil. And you're like, yeah, I did a Renegade run in Mass Effect and a Paragon run in Mass Effect, right? It's like, okay, but you notice how you were treated when you were a Renegade, like fully evil. Same thing with Infamous, even though those morality systems aren't the best. But all that to say, you have been taught from a young age to just do the right thing. You've taught like, do not harm others, protect others, or some version of that. We're talking about Power Rangers, like at some version of your childhood, either through TV shows, movies, hopefully parenting, you were taught to be a decent human being. So when you see an objectively oppressive force like, I don't know, Israel, killing the shit out of Palestinians in Gaza, how is there a question of who's the bad guy in the situation? You've been conditioned your whole life to understand who the bad guy here is. You play these games where you're ostensibly the hero, right? Like, and you're like, oh, I don't understand what's happening here. That's why I mentioned God of War. God of War, Kratos was a dickhead. He was angry at the world. He was wronged by one god and decided to destroy the world and was like, oopsies, that was a bad idea. So when I got older, I chilled out. I learned from my mistakes. I will choose the path of resistance, right? Baldur's going to try to egg me on. I will not rise to provocation. I will try to go out of my way to not commit heinous acts of violence, because I can do that, right? Yeah, but Pong I also made the caveat that story-based games, most games with any semblance of a story has some sort of politics and that in there. And also, no one's talking about Pong. Like, that's nothing too, I think people like to do is act like they don't know the realm which we're talking about. Because yeah, you could bring up, not you in particular, but yeah, but someone could bring up like, oh yeah, but what about Master Blaster? You fucking know we're talking about Master Blaster, right? If I start talking about, the politics, I'm like, I can't believe our government's doing that. And they start talking about the government in fucking like Nepal. I'm not talking about the Nepalese government, and you know I'm not. I know. Again, not talking about you, Wizard, but like they know what we're talking about. They will choose to pretend they don't know what we're talking about, but they know what we're talking about. We're talking in the same field, but the same language. When I talk about people being mad about woke games, they're not talking about them being mad at the fact that Pong or Tetris was created during the Cold War, and that's why it's anti-American, right? Like, no. Like, I'm not talking about that. We know what they're talking about, and they know. And so, like, when they do that shit, it lets me know they don't have an actual counter, so they'll hyper-focus on one thing. You said video games are art, but what about Andy Pants' game? It's like, not all art's great art, not all art's understood, not all art is good. But art is art. It's kind of lame, but Final Fantasy VII, why I wouldn't be a hero. It's not lame. It's not lame. But exactly, how do you watch like X-Men? How do you watch Spider-Man? How do you watch all these shows and you're like, wait a minute. There's an equivocation with the political. You are using definitions that mean current American politics. But I also, again, in that video that they watched, I also showed you that part where I said morals too, because the whole basis of that is you also can't get away from politics. You can't. If you talk about morals, you are talking about politics. Politics are just people's morals put into laws. That's how it's always been. That's how it's always been. Right? And if you look at most people's backings for their politics, it's because of their morals. Why do you think porn should be outlawed? Because I find it morally reprehensible, right? That's what they say. It's not because any statistical data or analysis, it's morals. Those things are linked. Back in the day, people who were segregationist, why did they believe that? Because morally. Yes, I know what they're doing, which is why I'm saying that's why in that video, I even do the extra work and talk about morals. So when they just hyper focus on one aspect of it and say he wants everything to be political, that lets me know they are intentionally missing the point. They've objectively have seen the video. I can't determine what they've absorbed, but they've seen it. They watched Alex watch it. They're commenting on it. So the fact that they can watch the video, hear my words, and talk about morals and politics and how morals bleed into politics, and their takeaway is he wants everything to be political. Good. Now I know that you are intentionally not only misrepresenting my point, but going so far as to just make a blanket statement just to feel good, to validate by confirmation bias. I'm the woke content creator, so everything I say you disagree with, unless it's Exhibition 33. Ultimately, they don't like me because I challenge them to think, and they like Alex because he reaffirms their worldview. That's how it always goes. How it always goes. That's the same reason people will follow Asmongold and hate people who challenge Asmongold's ideologies, right? These grifters have an audience because their audience wants to be reaffirmed. That's it. So they can do whatever, as long as they say woke, gay, and hyper focus on the wrong points, they can get away with it. They don't have to break things down in a way that makes sense. It's just, yeah, he wants games to be political because, I don't know, he's never played God of War, he's a fake gamer. It's like, okay, that's your takeaway from me describing what happens exactly in God of War, is that I've never played that game. I think most Americans I meet don't understand the politics are, and I think current debates are the only thing. I know. That's also part of what I want to do, is to break that routine up because it's stupid. That's also why I'm using vehicle. It's too late. I'm losing my brain. That's why I'm using video games also as a vehicle to talk about things from political nature. Like when I talk about the price of games going up or studios going under or this and that, that's tied to the larger politics. To get people to understand that politics is not just you voted red, I voted blue. Politics is, why are things the way that they are? Why is it that every time I buy a video game, I have to install it? Why do I have to do this? And then you find out, oh, it's because they have a deal with this company, or they're using this, or they have that, or because the president decided to increase tariffs on this, so you can't buy this from a reasonable price. It's not because developers are greedy, but because the president said, you can't buy this product anymore. Oh, that's why it's expensive. How come my shipment from, I don't know, some Japanese store got canceled? Oh, is it because Japan hates what the localizers did to their anime? No, it's because of the international tariffs they put on it. Like, I think you're trying to appeal to the dude bro gamers who don't know and understand the subtext, who like base media. Yes, I'm also combating media literacy. I'm combating media illiteracy. I am trying to do a lot in this space, okay? I am keyword on trying, because my God, it's just like a never-ending battle. Like, that's the audience. Like, that's that. Yeah, like I talked about, that's the work I have to do. Those are the people who I'm consistently having to deal with until they understand you playing a video game is not an act of activism, right? But lots of video games can help you understand certain things. It can help you understand, oh, you know what? When I was playing Final Fantasy VII, there was a company there that was taking all the resources for themselves, and there are people living in slums. And oh my God, the company was so concerned with making more money and finding the promised land that when one of their reactors blew up, they decided to blame everything that they were going to do on Avalanche. And they killed people in the Sector 7 slums by dropping a goddamn plate, which would also kill the people who live above the plate, which happened to be Shinra employees. And it's like, wow, this company cared so little about the lives of both its people and the citizens that without any sort of compunction, they destroyed a significant portion of it just so they could blame someone else, just so they could continue to suck the planet dry of its literal energy that would lead to the deaths of literally everyone. Oh, and who's this bad guy trying to stop them? Oh, Sephiroth, a genetically modified soldier from the cells of Genova, the calamity from the skies. Who has Genova? Wow, Shinra. Wow, this company also does private police and military. And in the remake, oh my God, they're going to war with a whole country over resources like materia. Geez, I wonder if there's any analogies to draw from these corporations getting in business in war. But no, you guys, it's escapism. There's no politics. No politics here. What happened in Coral Village? Definitely nothing political there. Nothing political about a corporation seeing an impoverished city / town, promising them wealth and riches because they had space they could use to build a reactor, and then poisoning the town and shutting it down. And if anyone tries to speak out against it, they killed them. That never happened. Coral Village to this day looks great. Definitely not in abject poverty. Nope. Not a shanty town. But could you imagine in real life if a company or individual with a lot of financial pull decided to just like, I don't know, take over an area and then proceed to just abandon said area, leaving the people to pick up the pieces? Like, could you imagine? Let's just say, again, fantasy, right? There was a really, really rich guy, and there's a state called California, and the guy's name is Pelon Dusk, and he goes to the people of California and is like, I see you're trying to build a robust public transportation system via trains. Don't do that. I will build you a better super train. Here's all this money. Give it, you're going to use, give it to me instead. And they go, okay, Pelon. And then he says, actually, no. That'd be weird, right? Resident Evil and Umbrella. No, there's no, you guys, it's fantasy. It's escapism. Resident Evil 9, right now, the people are playing, has absolutely nothing to do with anything that happens in reality. Like, if for some reason you thought Raccoon City could be analogous to a nuclear bomb or some sort of trauma that these people carry with them all over, wrong. Like, these people would look at my face unironically and literally say Resident Evil has nothing political in it because Leon doesn't vote fucking Democrat. It's so fucking, it's so great. It's so great. Metal Gear Solid, nothing's political there. In fact, Hideo Kojima does nothing political. All his games are escapism. 100% escapism. In fact, they're so escapist that Hideo Kojima doesn't even use real world locations. None of his games use real world locations at all. All his games are made completely fictional because every video game is escapism. Because everything's the same escapism.